Welcome everyone to the UTRGV Trombone Studio. My name is Dr. Pedro Martinez, and along with Dr. William Hogberg, we are the trombone professors at UTRGV. Before we move on to the Etude information, I'd like to highlight some recent accomplishments by the UTRGV Trombone Studio, including an invitation to perform at the 2020 International Trombone Festival in Osaka, Japan, which was canceled due to the COVID pandemic. 2 performances at the 2019 International Trombone Festival in Muncie, Indiana. Performances at the Big 12 Trombone Conference in Lubbock, Texas. Performances at Trombonanza in 2019 in Santa Fe, Argentina. And an open invitation to perform in Chile once we get cleared to travel once again post-pandemic. The remaining video content will contain general practice tips, a breakdown of Etude number 2, and an audio performance example at the end of the presentation. General practice tips. As a rule of thumb, spend most of your time practicing slowly or under tempo. I recommend starting at half the indicated tempo range and work your way up to speed gradually and meticulously. Record yourself as often as possible, as you will be able to hear things that you miss when playing. Take your time. Do not rush the practice process by taking things too fast or up the tempo too soon. Record yourself often and be as detailed as possible when listening, and always strive to improve from what you hear. Please note that recording yourself and just hearing the recording is not going to improve your playing. It is important to listen, analyze, and critique your recordings so you can address areas for improvement. There's a big difference to hearing something and listening to something. Don't just hear the recording. Listen, analyze, critique, fix. Practicing slowly and recording yourself are 2 of the best things you can do to improve your overall playing. I encourage you to do both regularly. Don't stress out about written tempo markings. Our goal is to try to get into that range, but it is important that you do not focus so much on reaching that tempo range if it proves difficult to play cleanly and with your best tone. In the end, no matter how well anyone can execute the music, tone quality needs to remain a top priority. Never sacrifice the best tone you can produce. It may seem obvious to most, but you must enjoy making music. If you are not enjoying the process leading up to the goal, then you need to change your outlook or a good attitude, a positive attitude, goes a long way in succeeding in anything in life, especially music. So have fun and enjoy the privilege of making music. Moving on to the breakdown of Etude number 2. This etude is the G minor Lento on page 4 of the Voxman Selected Studies for Trombone. The indications are to play from beginning to end, and the tempo range is quarter note equals 60 to 76. There are no indicated errata for this etude, meaning that no corrections need to be made to the music. This etude offers the performer the opportunity to express the beautiful lyrical capabilities of the trombone, so don't be afraid to take chances when playing musically. The Lento tempo is not to be taken literally, as the suggested tempo range is slightly faster than the typical Lento range. The suggested tempo for this etude is quarter note equals 60 to 76. As brass players, when we seek to be musically expressive, our goal is to have the same musical impact that a vocalist has when singing. The advantage is that the singer uses words to emphasize what they are trying to express or convey to the listener, while instrumentalists rely solely on nonverbal expression and engagement. When differentiating the articulation between the tongued and slurred notes in a lyrical etude, I recommend the following pronunciation options. Approach all non-slurred notes with a light do articulation. Approach all slur notes with an even lighter ro articulation. To further clarify the ro articulation, think of it as a sound that is made when pronouncing the words oro, Spanish word for gold, or toro, Spanish word for bull. D articulation, do, R articulation, ro. For example, the tongue articulations or pronunciations in the passage below may be played in the following manner. Da, 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 da 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 da. If a performer is proficient enough to air attack the notes that cross partials, it is perfectly acceptable and appropriate to do so, albeit a more advanced technique. The following may be played with no tongue at all, and with only air attacks when moving upward from the D in the middle of the staff to the high B flat. When using vibrato, make sure it does not get too slow or too wide. When making use of rubato, make sure that you push and pull the tempos gradually. Sudden tempo changes are not appropriate for this etude. This etude offers the performer the opportunity to be as musically expressive as possible, while showcasing flexibility in range and articulation. In closing, remember to tell a story with your interpretation of this etude, and as always, have fun when you play.